Them a see a week show. It's them a see a week show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's them a see a week show. It's them a see a week show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Week Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilizes the mode, that's the MR code. We growing, we know it.
Yes, people, strict guardians of our heritage. That's who we are. This is the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from, drumroll, Barbados. I have in my hand the national flag of Barbados, and we fly it high in the sky and let the whole world know that the king is in residence here. God is in charge of Barbados. If you believe God is in charge of Barbados, I hold the flag. Yeah, let me handle this properly. If you believe that God is in charge, the king is in residence here, let me see the flag. That flag in the comment section. Some of you, you know how to find the flag icon. Yes, man. And that was the national anthem of Barbados, because we believe in this country. We believe in the plan that God has for this beautiful land. Oh my goodness, guys, tonight is a great, great night. We are looking at Barbados under the microscope. That's our topic tonight. And, we're looking at Barbados under the microscope in many, many different ways. I tell you, at 7:10 tonight, we are going to look at what we're going to be calling Crop Over 2026, the hits, the hype, and the headlines. And from time to time, we are going to be able to visit some of the tents and see what is happening and or getting news from out of the tents. Okay. And so we're going to look at Carter's Shining Stars. We were at, this was Julie's tent where Ronnie Clark is. I was there on Friday night. And so I'm going to bring you some highlights from there. And then we are going to look at mosquitoes tonight with Maurice Gaskin. I tell you, we're under the microscope, and he's going to educate us about mosquitoes, this tiny threat with big consequences, those mosquitoes under the microscope. Then we're going to look at paternity in estate matters. Who really inherits? Understanding paternity in estate matters. When paternity is disputed after death, what happens to inheritance rights? We examine the legal issues surrounding paternity, estates, and family disputes. And one and only attorney, Corey Beckles. He's going to be here. I'm excited about that segment as well. I'm just excited about Monday nights. Then Alwyn Babb is going to join us, and he's looking at the changes that are proposed to common entrance. Are our children ready? Government is proposing changes to the common entrance examination. Did you know that? And to the curriculum. What will change? Are schools prepared? Are parents being given enough information? Tonight, we're going to examine some of those concerns, the questions that they have, what these changes could mean for students, teachers, and families. Okay. And we will not end the night without doing a review of the key messages within the Right Honorable Freundel Stuart's message yesterday here in St. Philip South at their branch, the DLP branch meeting in St. Philip South. They put on an amazing meeting. That was a national meeting that was held at the DLP St. Philip South. And so we are going to do a recap and an analysis of the major points raised by the Right Honorable Freundel Stuart. And somebody might say, well, didn't you do that last night? Yes, we did it, but we're going to review because this is class. What's wrong with you? Former Prime Minister of Barbados. That's who he is. And, you know, and we're going to look at some of the points again and what they could mean for Barbados. And we are hoping at 9:30, we're going to open up this line again. Be ready to call in. We're going short to take in some calls, really, really quick calls, 2 to 3 minute calls tonight, and see how many we could get in, right? So get ready to call in and share your views on any of the topics on tonight's discussion, especially on the Right Honorable Freundel Stuart. Yes. Somebody is Monica. Good night. Monica is saying that she listened to the Honorable Freundel Stuart again today. We need to keep listening to him. We need to keep listening over and over and over again. We need to. Yes. Flo Joe Maloney, how are you doing? Monica Ince, good night. Lucinda Mavis Lashley, good evening. Judy Jugs, how are you doing, girl? Judy was wondering, Marcia, where's the link? I was out at a graduation today at St. Ambrose Primary there, Wellington Street, Nelson Street. You know, we develop a love for that community, and you know, I seem to happen to have a child or grandchild there. they're now telling me. So we are going to going to listen to that. I got distracted, Dave, because Maurice Gaskin is trying to reach me, and I'm not sure what it is for, because I can't talk to Mr. Gaskin right now. So I suspect Dave will have to talk with him. So I got a little distracted there, guys. You know, I like to be honest with you. Let me see if I can send a message. I can't talk. Can't talk. Okay, guys, as we are doing this, we're just dealing with a technical matter here with Mr. Gaskin. I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and to like and share. Go ahead and like and share. please. Okay, let me just deal with this issue quickly.
Walk Holy 2026 celebrates this unique island, Barbados, and her history.
Every step we pray. Whoopity, 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 la la la, and praise Jah.
Is asking her to return to her place of
When you
righteousness.
finish there, Dave, go ahead and play
you
the thing
believe
from the
that
tent.
Barbados needs to
little boy.
return to the godliness
Yes.
and
Hello, Mr.
righteousness to
Gaskin.
allow her to punch above her weight. Call or WhatsApp us at 246
To let you in, I sent you the link.
or 246 236 7000. If you're coming in from over and away, drop us a note so we can make provisions for you. Bring your best contributions and come. Join in with Walk Holy and help us steer this unique island back to righteousness again. See you there.
Strong Jesus all day long. No weapon formed against.
Please welcome to the stage King Maurice Gaskin. Happy to get
Now, this little man that you saw there was at the Carter's Carter's Shining Stars, and they have quite a number of the junior Calypsonians there, and they were phenomenal. And he was saying, school days are happy days. And coming up, you're going to hear an interview of this little boy. Actually, he is Julie's, the manager of the tent. That's her grandson. And he did an amazing job. And here he is. He came, I was interviewing somebody, and he came and took the interview. So just listen to him, please. Go right ahead, Dave. You are the little singer?
Yes, please.
What was the name of your song?
School days are happy days.
School days are happy days. And did you listen? You looked quite happy on stage.
Yeah, I did. Those juniors' clothes was actually my school clothes.
Those are your school clothes?
Yeah.
Where do you go to school?
George Lambert Primary School.
George Lamming.
Yes, please.
Wow, you did a great job. Were you afraid?
No, I was not afraid.
You were not afraid?
No.
I was thinking so, because the way you were moving up and down that stage. And then I was saying, I wonder if he's going to miss his lines. You didn't forget.
Nope.
Because
I was learning my song since last year.
You were learning them since you learning the song since last year?
Yes.
Oh.
So of course I will not forget.
Wow. And so you know when to come in, you know about the band and all of that. Because I was saying, oh my God, I hope he doesn't forget. Not you.
Not me. So I got to sing a little part.
Sing a little part for me now.
School days are happy days. School days are happy days. School days are happy days.
This guy, listen to man is a star.
Let me try again.
You try again? All right, try again.
Jaja go to school all well. All the time when you would be smiling. Remember that education will always be your foundation.
Ah, and there he runs off like a little child. I tell you, look at him scampering like a little. He's just a little kid having a happy time. School days are happy days. Well, I wish you all the very best. So you're in the junior competition?
Yeah.
Yes. So I wish you all the best that you get to the finals. Okay?
I passed the finals already.
You passed the finals already?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so you're hoping to win the crown.
Yeah.
You want to win the crown? Yeah. Man, I like them shoes. Those shoes, when you move, the lights come on in them.
Yeah.
Serious shoes, man. Oh, look at them shoes.
Oh.
That one come on.
Yeah.
And you're matching the red in the shirt. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes? All right. Yes. Folks, let me tell you, that young man, I mean, as some of you are saying that he ain't shy at all. And this is what you see at the Carter's Shining Stars. If you, Calypso Tent, if you want to see them, go and check their schedule. I just don't have the schedule right now to put it up. But yes, just go online and search for them and go out and see him. He's singing School Days Are Happy Days with his school bag. And he's so confident on stage. As he told you, I've been rehearsing, so there's no need to be afraid, right? Well, I also had the opportunity of speaking with none other than Ronnie Clark and the announcer, the announcer. So we're going to put down the announcer. So this is his tent, and he will let you know how he's been writing for some of the artists there, some of the junior artists. He's been writing. I don't know if Dave is ready with any with Ronnie, anything from Ronnie at this moment. Somebody's saying that he looks like Julie. She could not disown him at all. Yes. Somebody said family must surround this innocent baby boy and keep him on track. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. All right. So here we have the announcer, and he is one of the principal people there at Carter's Shining Star. And we're going to hear a little bit of his interview, and then we go into some of his performance. Go right ahead, Dave. Thank you. Well, good night again, everybody. We're here with the man of the hour. Let me go up close to his shirt, and you will see the announcer, and it is Carter's Shining Stars Calypso tent. I'm telling you, the atmosphere here, Ronnie, it is amazing. We're here at opening night.
We are indeed.
Yes.
2026. It's a year after a great year last year, and we're looking to have a tremendous season.
Yes, I mean I think the numbers are great here tonight. People are standing, and hardly. I came in, I could hardly find a seat.
Well, there's anticipation, and we hope to deliver tonight.
Yes, and well, I know. Initially, when I think of Carter Shining Star, I think of the announcer, and so I came to support you, but found out that I have the Apaches here, and
That's
my friend Julian is
Correct.
here. This seems like this is the place.
That's right. It's a bit of a experienced tent camaraderie as well, and we're working very closely with Julie, the boss, to make
Yes.
sure that Carter Shining Stars presents good calypso, doesn't shy away, brave, bold, fearless, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but
Correct.
of love and of power and of a sound mind.
Correct. And you know what I love about it? This tent is my second time, and I love that there's like a family feeling here.
That's
I
right.
love the children. I don't know what the other tents do, but I love the involvement of the juniors. I think that is wonderful. It gives. And what is it you guys are trying to convey?
Well, it's
with that?
important to give the juniors as much support as possible.
Dave,
When you into the tent, you see
how long is this interview?
protocol,
Mm.
buy into the vision, and know that they are the next generation. Because I had more time on my hands than
Give me
usual,
about
this season,
another
I
minute
had the
of it.
opportunity to write
And
one
then
of the juniors
get this
to
song
10
ready.
Come in
wow.
between.
Huh?
Come in between so I can get time.
Yeah.
for Queen, I wrote for Chelsea
Oh,
and Little E. So
wow.
I also-
They're four.
four
Once I
songs.
go in, the juniors.
myself and Andy Williams, and we didn't charge.
Wow,
We
that
didn't
is
charge.
excellent.
It's
Because
important, it's important,
the
it's
next
important to
generation.
give them a chance to work with some good material
Yes,
and encourage them, because they learn very quickly
yes.
and they are encouraged just as quickly.
Quickly, yes.
They have the appetite and that desire.
That is lovely. We saw the little man. School days are happy days.
Yeah, we didn't write that one, but that's Julie's grandson. He was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's made for
His
this.
first year, actually. Yeah.
First year.
That's
He's
right.
made for this.
That's
He's
right.
definitely made for this. Well, the announcer.
Mhm.
I had a glimpse of you. I was going to catch you off guard there, and you were rehearsing.
That's right.
And I'm thinking, you're so professional, Ronnie. I tell you.
You have to do the basics. If you don't do the basics, you can't excel. Never get complacent. Never get overconfident.
Yes.
Line by line, verse by verse, bridge, change key, final verse,
Yes, that's the
And,
announcer.
out.
Well, folks, what we're going to do now, we're going to give you some more of that interview on Wednesday, hopefully. But what we want to do is to give you a bit of his performance. Let's see if we can do that. And by the way, while Dave is setting that up, do you know who I saw at Carter Shining Stars tent? John King. I saw John King there, and we had a wonderful conversation, and actually, and I have it on video that I'm going to show you tomorrow. I won't have the time tonight, so tonight we're going to give the rest of this segment to Ronnie Clark, to the announcer tonight, and on Wednesday night we will go into John King. All right, a bit, and that's going to be interesting. So go right ahead, Dave. This is Ronnie's second song that he's put out for the season. Go ahead.
And this year, when I come to tell you all about me and the People's King, let's hear it for the announcer!
Happy Kapoka! Count the shining stars! judges who fail to come in and see. And we go Botanical Gardens, we got up thousands of patrons who came to see the announcer appear. Hip hop competition, performance presentation, National Carol Festival, they were clear. When the show was done, people had me as number one. But the result was an insult, and all I hear. The people's cake, you are the people's cake. Blood will be trophy, but you are the people's cake. You have the garden trophy. You are before you say. The judges show you no mercy, but you are the people's cake. The people's cake. I comes over since 1991. Catholic school got right, independent for man. Keep on looking, cabbage shuffle, last general election. Firepower, patriot, sing a song, I don't want the crowd. You never win the monarchy with all the songs that he sing. Like the late, great Colin Reed, you are the people's king, the announcer, observant. You are the ants, really grant, the people's king, 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 king. Welcome back on the bar. Welcome back, Connie Henrietta style and fashion, flowing down by passion, makeup and nails by faith, the urban girl. Drawing six position, Julie and I made a decision. No suit, we had to shock the world. Oh, what a transformation, dramatic interpretation. Admiral in a wing, the master plan. The people who say they know me, say I look like I don't.
Yeah, we won't play all of it. At 7:30, I'm stopping. I will stop at 7:30.
You are the people's king. Blood in the trophy, but you are the people's king. Yeah, you got the trophy. Even before you sing, the judges show you no mercy, but you are the people's king. Lord, the people's king. Like Johnny, my boy, 1988. Return the king Queens again, what he composed and creates. Woman, respect yourself, my shopping mother country. That party, carry this way in this country. Look, that party, carry this way, like moderating. Like Ronnie Clark is the Calypso king. You are the people's king. The announcer, marvelous. The announcer, fabulous. The announcer, dangerous. The people's king. Call the police, report the crime. A missing crime, they have to find 100 grand. An SUV disappear. Right in front of a massive crowd, Stoops in hand and cussing out. Count up, that God happened this year. No tears, no tissues. I always deal with the issues. They can't stop me with their demonic intent. Dominoes in dark places, wickedness in high places, blocking content to try and keep me silent. Devils on the crop overseen, villains culturally green, trying their best to keep me out. But you don't need camouflage to see the espionage. The announcer and Ronnie Clark, yeah, sabotage. The people's king, you are the people's king. Blood win the trophy, but you are the people's king. You have the garden rocky. Even before you sing, the judges show you no mercy, but you are the people's king. Lord, the people's king. At breakfast, jump on 8 who visit we in African style.
Well, I tell you, folks, this is just a part of it because you need to hear the last verse. You need to hear the last verse he sang about, two employees. Well, one in particular at Starcoms. You need to hear that. That's all I can say about it. And we're going to have the remainder of that is going to be up on the channel on the Marcia Week Show, the YouTube channel. You can go to hear the rest of it. If we can tonight, we'll try to play the remainder of that, but we are so pressed for time. We're just going to give you a little bit at a time, all right? But tonight, folks, we have Maurice Gaskin with us, and I know you can't wait to hear him as well. Tonight is an exciting, very busy night, and he's talking about mosquitoes again, the tiny threat with big consequences. So here he is, Mr. Maurice Gaskin. Good night, sir.
Good night, Marcia. Good night to everyone locked on to the Marcia Week Show. This evening, it's my pleasure again to be back. And this evening, I'll be speaking on the control measures.
Yes.
What you need to know, what you need to do to control mosquitoes. Right. So first off, in my job as an environmentalist, we have found that persons wash the wares by the sink. They do not dry them, place them into the dish dryer, and then the water that leak from those plates and glasses and so on, we have found mosquitoes breeding there. So the important thing to control mosquitoes there by your sink is when you wash your wares, your cups, your glasses, and everything, you need to dry them before you place them into the dish rack. We have also found mosquitoes breeding in your toothbrush holder.
What?
Yes, we have, when we come around and we say we have to do an interior and exterior inspection, people want to know where you want to come into the premises.
Yes.
But the law states that you must do an interior and exterior inspection. And we have found when we go into people's homes and check the bathroom and so on, we have found mosquitoes, when you brush your teeth and you don't shake the toothbrush, that water leak from the toothbrush, and you get mosquitoes breeding in the toothbrush holder. So you need to shake that toothbrush before you put it into the toothbrush holder. Another area within the home that we have found mosquitoes to be breeding is in your toilet bowl. So, Marcia, if you're traveling, you and your husband overseas, you're going back to Jamaica, you're going to America and so on, and you have the toilet bowl and it don't have a cover. My advice to you and persons locked on, you need to put at least 3 tablespoonfuls of salt into the toilet. Salt, S-A-L-T, into the toilet bowl. And that salt changes the pH of the water, make the water more alkaline and so on. And mosquitoes, that will take care of it for at least a month until you return back. That is providing you don't have a cover on your toilet. So salt would work. Another control, I like animals, and I don't have a dog because if I had a dog, I would treat it like one of my children. I'm saying that to say we have gone at premises. I went at a house somewhere in the country already, and I was amazed there were 3 Chihuahua dogs there. The owner wasn't home, but the law allowed us to enter the premises without the owner being there. And I entered the premises, and I was shocked because the person had all these soaps to wash the dog, all these shampoos and everything to look after the dog very well, nice feeding pans and so on. But we found mosquitoes breeding in the water bowl. You see, what I'm getting at is that if you have a dog or any animal, a cat, turtle, any animal, you need to scrub the container.
Yes.
If you don't scrub it, then this moss, this alkali moss builds up. So when you throw off the water and you replace it with fresh water for the animal, the eggs are stuck to the container of the animal container, and the eggs remain there. When you pour back water, then you get mosquito breeding. So you need to scrub that alkali, that moss from around the container, so that you will prevent mosquito breeding. I have a plant here. I want to explain. Marcia,
Yes.
you may have visitors coming in, say for crop over for some event, and you're so busy taking them to Harrison Cave and Oystins and driving them all about and so on, and you have your plants, and for about 3 weeks you neglect your plants. And after your visitors have gone, you say, oh shoot, I don't want my plant to die. So you come and you pour in a lot of water to try to revive the plant.
Yes.
When that water goes into the saucer, I'm speaking about plants being on the inside where you have the saucer to stop the water from going on your carpet or on your ground. So when you come and put in a lot of water into the plant, that excess water goes down into the saucer and it rises up. And after you keep doing that repeatedly, there's a green alkaline line, mossy line that develops around the edge of the plant pot. That line is called the meniscus, meniscus. And the mosquitoes look for that line, the meniscus, and they deposit the eggs. And the eggs will remain there up to 2 years or so without water.
What?
Yes. So when you go and pour in the water, after you did not wet it for a few days, that water rises up and touches around that meniscus, around that line, and then you will have mosquito larvae in your plant pot inside the house.
Hold a minute. You pause on that one, because I have a lot of plants in here. So you're saying that this was, you call it meniscus?
The meniscus, meniscus, the meniscus. That is that green. You see, after you keep wetting this plant repeatedly, the salt and so on from the water, from your drinking water will have the chlorine in it. Eventually, that develops a green mossy line around the edge of the plant pot, about 2 inches up. So when you wet the plant and the eggs are there, maturing for quite a while, as I said, they can remain there up to 2 years without water. Once the place is not too hot, not too cold, and it's ideal, then you get, when you wet the plant too heavy, you get mosquito breeding in the saucer.
And you said they can live there. The eggs can live there for up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years, 2+ years without, once you don't disturb, don't scrub or anything like that. So my advice to you and persons watching, a plant like this, this size plant, when I was going to school, only about 2 or 3 persons in the village had a fridge. We had to go on Sundays and buy 10 cent a nice, 5 cent a nice to put to Marby and drink and so on. What I'm getting at now, the commercial stores offer you no down payment. So actually everybody in Barbados has a fridge. So a plant like this, for those who are watching and listening, never again wet your plant with the traditional water. You go to your fridge and you place about 5 ice cubes on the top of this plant.
Really?
Yes, 5 ice cubes. This size plant, 5 ice cubes. And the water, what we call a drip irrigation process happens there, where the ice cubes then tend to melt. And if you put it there this morning, around 1, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock this evening, you will still have the ice there because it's having that drip. And there's no way that the water will reach the saucer. So the plant will be more healthy because it's getting this drip irrigation process all the time. And then the soil absorbs the water. So for those of you who are listening, never wet your plant, your inside plants with water again. Use some ice cubes to place on the top of the plant.
Never heard of that in my life.
Yes, 5, as I said, a plant of this size, just about 5 ice cubes. A larger plant, maybe 10 ice cubes. The ice melts slowly. The plant always having that water, and the soil will absorb the water because it is having this slow drip.
Slow drip. Yeah, that makes sense. Can I tell you something? There was a young girl who was a student of ours, and she caught dengue, and they found out that the mosquito was from the plants at her grandmother's house, inside the house, and the child had dengue, and he was in the hospital and everything.
Yes, correct. Because the mosquito, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, remember last week I mentioned there are over 2,000 species of mosquitoes.
Yes.
And there are actually over 900 species of the Aedes mosquito. The Aedes aegypti tend to like living close to us to get our blood. But then there's a mosquito called the Aedes albopictus and the Aedes albuminous that tend to like to live in jungles to feed on animals and so on. But the Aedes aegypti, which is black and white in color, which you are seeing on the screen, is the mosquito, what you call a domesticated mosquito that lives close to our homes to get the blood. While I'm at it, before I forget, when you have you mentioned dengue, and I guess Dr. Hines will tell you that when you have dengue, it tends to thin your blood. So when you're feeling sick, you're having joint pains, headaches, fever, and so on, dengue is similar to the flu, and is also similar to leptospirosis. So you need to seek medical help and medical attention as soon as possible. If you're diagnosed with dengue, you need to reduce your intake of Morbi. You need to not to use aspirin. You need to reduce your intake of onion and garlic. Those things tend to thin your blood. And dengue thins your blood. So then if you have a double thinning of the blood, then you could actually get sick. So avoid, once you're diagnosed with dengue, avoid Morbi, avoid onion, avoid garlic, and aspirin. You need to hydrate a lot, use a lot of fluids, a lot of coconut water, a lot of Sprite, Gatorade, Powerades, and those things are very good. You need to leave out the drinks with a lot of dyes like Kool-Aids and so on. You need to leave out those type of drinks. Right.
Yes. Somebody's asking about the soil. Here to disrupt you. If the water it would be too cold for the plants, but it's going on the soil, right?
Right, it's going on the soil, so the water would not be too cold for the plant because it's actually having this slight drip irrigation process, because you're not pouring ice water per se to the plant. You're having the ice cubes on the top of the plant, and the cubes are melting slowly, and the plant and then outside is hot, so that also reduces the temperature within the ice and so on to actually to like atmospheric temperature, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right. For those of you That's a good question, though. But for those of you who are having water tanks, you have to be careful with the inlet pipe going in. If you're collecting the water off the roof of the house, you need to be careful with the inlet pipe going into the tank. We have got our premises already, and persons complain about mosquito breeding, and when we turn on the tap connected to the water tank, we have seen thousands of mosquito larvae coming out. So when that inlet pipe is going into the black water tank, you need to seal it with maybe some flash band or some galvanized sheeting and so on, so that only the water goes into the tank and not the mosquitoes. What persons also need to do that have the tanks is to purchase something called mosquito dumps. Marcia, you're aware of donuts? You ever eat a donut?
I mean donuts, yeah, that you eat, yeah.
Right. The mosquito dumps are similar in shape and appearance to donuts.
Mosquito dunks.
Dunks, DUNKS.
Okay.
It's a bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis that you could place at least, you could purchase them from Carter's, H&B. A lot of the places sell them, and you could get a strip of 2. You could get a strip, I think, of 6, a strip of 8, and they're pretty cheap. And you could place at least 2 or 4 of them in your water tank. It will not damage the cause any harm to the water, because it said is a bacteria, a Bacillus thuringiensis, and it could actually prevent mosquitoes for at least 3 months. And they're pretty, yes, I am seeing them here on the screen. Mosquito dumps, very, very, very good, very effective. And any place where you have water settling, you could place the dumps. You could actually place the dumps there before rainfall. If you anticipate that there will be rain collecting in a particular area, you could actually place the dumps there. The larvae feed on the dumps, and it bursts the abdomen and the gut of the mosquito and so on.
So let me ask you. So can you repeat where we can get these at Carter's? You said
you could get from Carter's. You could get from H&B and agrochemicals. You could also agrochemicals. Maybe the best place you could get them, where you could get a strip of 2, 4, 6, 20. And agrochemicals is located in Warrens. You know, by when you go up Warrens approaching Jackson.
Okay.
Right, there's a commercial estate up in there where the district emergency place is up in there. Agrochemicals, you could go there and you could purchase them. You could also purchase something called Aquitaine.
Aquitaine. So before you go to Aquitaine, so you're saying that even though this is a chemical and it's for biological mosquito control,
it's not a chemical. It's actually a bacteria. It is not a chemical.
Oh.
Right. That's why I said it's safe.
Okay,
Right.
so it's a good bacteria for us, for humans.
Correct.
Okay.
Aquitaine, you can also purchase Aquitaine. Aqua means water. Tain, T-A-I-N. And I think a flask of Aquitaine is about $80, but you just need about 4 drops on the surface of the water, and then it spreads right out and prevent the oxygen from going into the water. So I have looked at what we call physical control. I
have a question for you.
Okay.
So what about, because I create these in my buckets. I have what I call compost tea. So I, with scraps, I put water on it, and then it makes a, I call it, well, in the garden, a tea that I use once a week to water the plants. I would need to keep that covered, right? They would live in there.
Right, you need to keep that covered, or you need to put just a pinch of salt in it,
Okay.
or just a small amount of bleach, or you can even use the same dunks, maybe half of one of the dunks in the water.
Okay.
Right. Persons that watching and listening, I would advise them to pay attention to the premises at least twice a week. Just spend 10 minutes twice a week looking around their premises. Check the water tanks. They need to check the rear's rack, check the toothbrush holder. They also need to check the sometimes you go into houses and the up when you pull the cupboard up under the sink, that trap is sometimes defective, and persons place a bucket there to hold the water. So if you're placing a bucket there to hold the water, you need to put some bleach in it, or you need to put some kerosene oil in it, or you need to put some salt or mosquito dunks in it before you have it repaired.
Right. Or the Aquatane.
Or Aquatane.
Right.
So Marcia, if you having your carpenter still on physical control, you're having your carpenter putting up your roof gutter. Then you don't put your roof gutter up at 180 degrees. You start at 180 and you dip. The carpenter should, what you call a gradient.
Right.
So for every 10 feet, he should dip it at least a quarter of an inch. So that when the rain fall, that water will not remain there.
It will not settle.
It will not settle. So all of that is physical control that I've just explained.
Yes.
Let's look at chemical.
Someone just said here that they recently used, I think they're talking about the mosquito dunks in their water, and they said that they found not only dead larvae, but they also found adult mosquitoes dead in the water. Lemuel, did you use what did you use? Did you use the dunks, mosquito dunks, or the Aquatane? But continue. I just wanted to point that out.
Right. Very good. Let's look at chemical control. We did a study years ago, and we found there are about 148,000 premises in Barbados. And when we did the study, the average household uses about $24 in insecticide per month. That is too high. And once you practice a lot of these control measures, when we mentioned the plant, the dog pan, the weirs, the water tanks, and so on, then you should not be using so much spray. And as I mentioned last week, if you buy Bok last month, you should buy Ray this month. You should buy Shell Tox probably next month, and you will go back to the Bok maybe around September, after that generation of mosquitoes would have gone. If you see mosquito larvae outside in a tire bucket or drum or anything, so you could apply kerosene or diesel. But if you had a choice between the two, it would be better to put the kerosene, because the kerosene is lighter and it spreads more uniformly across the water and prevent the oxygen from going into the water. If you use the diesel, then you have to take a stick or some apparatus and stir it. Because if you don't do that, because the diesel is pretty heavy, it tend to pocket, and it may go into a corner, and then the mosquito is so smart they will look for the other part of the container to lay the eggs. So kerosene oil will be better. For those of you who catches water off the roof into a drum,
yes,
what you need to do, listen good. When you set up that drum, you should go to the hardware and you should purchase some net. You know, the insect screen, the mosquito net you have at your window. You need to get that. And listen carefully. You know the pet bottle? You know, the normal pet Coke Sprite pet bottle?
Yes.
You take an empty one with the cover on. You put it in the drum. You take the net and you tie the net, fasten the net with a cord, so that when that water comes off the roof and go into the drum, so that you can wash your car or wet your plants, mosquitoes will not go in there. But what happens, Marcia, is after, because it's exterior, and you're having the elements, the sun, the wind, and the dew.
Right.
After about 8 months, that netting becomes a little defective. So what happens is that the reason why you put the pet bottle in the drum, when the rain fall and that water comes off the roof and go into the drum, if you do not put that pet bottle in there, and then the net tend to dip like this, allow the mosquitoes to breed. So what the pet bottle does is that when the drum get full, it pushes the net up.
Because I had a net on mine, one I had, and it gave a belly happen.
A belly,
and it was still,
right. So Marcia, to avoid the belly, you place the pet bottle, which is light. So the pressure of the water pushes the pushes the pet bottle up and push the net up in the air. And that is what you need to do.
Wow.
So in terms of we talk about source reduction. We're seeing too many containers. Somebody go and buy a pair of shoes for $300 to wear them, and then when they get old, they left the shoes knocking around in the yard. When the rain fall, the shoes collect water and breed mosquitoes. You have the drums, you have the buckets, you have the saucers. All of these things you need to pay attention to. Source reduction means removing the sources that could breed mosquitoes. Removing the car parts, removing the tires. And now I'm on tires. We see schools. We have had mosquitoes breeding at schools where they're looking at doing a tire garden. Yes, what they need to do is take the tire. And you know the tire has a top and a bottom, so to speak. You cut a hole 5 inches apart, right around the top of the tire, and 5 inches right at the bottom, so that wherever you turn the tire, it will not retain water.
I'm trying to picture, but go ahead. I'm trying to picture
that.
What
I'm saying, you have the tire, the round tire. The top of the tire, you cut a hole every 5 inches.
Okay, I got it.
So that tire will have at least 8 holes at the top, and you do the same at the bottom. So wherever you turn, you
doesn't hold the water.
I want to go back to the salt. When I was at Vector Control Unit, we decided during the summer vacation to inspect. We inspected 85 schools, primary and secondary, and 55 were breeding mosquitoes.
Wow.
Yes, and the reason for that, well, I think the ministry have changed the policy now where persons, I think janitors and maids do not get vacation now like the teachers. I think they get the vacation during the year. But what happened then is that the persons were on vacation, and
Okay. I think we're having a little issue there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. 85 schools, 55 were breeding mosquitoes. And the reason for that is that when persons were on holiday, the toilets were not being flushed. And that's how we had to advise persons to use salt.
To use salt in there. Can you believe the time has gone? So we literally, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes. And that means I have to talk to Dr. Hines so you to come back next week to close off this mosquito, because I think we still have a lot of questions, and then we might take a break the following week, and then we come back to it a little later on. So just take 2 minutes and see if we can close off before Mr. Beckles joins us.
Right. And in closing off, this is one that is not too popular. This is also a control measure, and is the mosquito 1970 regulations, where we have sadly had to place persons before the court for breeding mosquitoes. And that is a control measure. I wasn't too fond of it, but sadly, we have persons repeatedly breeding mosquitoes. And as you know, you may be keeping your premises clean and your neighbors not keeping the premises clean. So we had to place some of them, prosecute some of them before the court. Some of them had to pay the court $500 for breeding mosquitoes, because the fine is between $1 and $5,000, and even 6 months in prison, and both fine and confine. But that is something that we did not like. But persons repeatedly, we have had mosquitoes breeding at persons 20 times. Every time you visit, you find in mosquitoes, sometimes 20, 25 times. And no regard. You say if the mosquitoes would have remained by them, you would not mind, but then they leave by them and come and bite you.
Right.
And make you sick. And that is what is called public health. Public health. Because we look after the public health. So the mosquitoes will not remain by them. Actually, mosquitoes travel at least 500 yards from where they live, because they're very small and tiny, and the wind take them around. So next Monday, God willing, I'll be back.
Yes.
And probably some other time we could look at bed bugs.
Bed bugs. Oh my goodness. So we will wrap up. We will talk, we'll discuss with Dr. Hines as well. Right. And then we will, but no, this is so interesting. Right. Very interesting. Thank you so much. I learned a lot, and I'm going to do some things tomorrow.
Yes, with your plants.
You come on, I go and I practice something that you said.
Aquatine and the aquatine, the mosquito dumps, and so on.
Yes, I never heard of these things. I'm sorry, I never heard of them. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaskin. It's always a pleasure. And it seemed like it went so quickly. But thank you. God bless you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you and yours.
Yes, bye-bye. Wow. I tell you, I love Monday nights because I love to learn. And I'm telling you, we have Mr. Corey Beckles, and we took 4 minutes of his time, and he's getting it back, I tell you. But let me bring him right in the studio. Welcome back. We hope you had a great wedding anniversary celebrations.
Yes, thank you. It was good. It was good.
It was 13 years?
Yes, 13. Yes, 13.
13 years. Well, congratulations again. And of course, we missed you, but you were taking care of family, and that's very important. Well, over to you, sir.
Right. Yes. So we are talking about paternity issues in estate matters. I also have a PowerPoint. Yes, thank you. For bringing up the PowerPoint, paternity issues and estate matters. And now this is a very important issue. And paternity usually refers to proving. So paternity issues refer to proving that some man is your father. So this is where the child has to prove that this gentleman is their father. Or you also have circumstances where the father is proving or has to prove that the child or that individual is their child. Now, that second circumstance can occur where a child is set to inherit an estate. And from our previous lessons, our previous programs, we would have learned that parents can also inherit a child's estate once the circumstances are
Yes.
present. A parent or parents can inherit. So there may be situations where the father has to prove that that child, or he is actually the father of that child. So now we go in now to some other issues concerning paternity. So we are looking now at births. Births. Why paternity? Why paternity?
Mm-hmm.
Why paternity? So there are many children in the Caribbean. Many children in the Caribbean who are born and their father's name is not on their birth certificate. The mother's name is there, of course, but the father's name is not there on that birth certificate. Now, there are also many fathers, many men who father children, who the children are living with them, but their names are still not on the birth certificate. And the birth certificate is the only proof of paternity. Well, there's other proofs of paternity, which is DNA, but as relates to the birth certificate itself, the birth certificate is not only the proof of birth, but it is also the proof of paternity. It is one of the documents that the court will use to determine whether or not someone is the father of an individual. And if the father's name is not there, then you also have to go to an attorney at law, and you have to apply to the court to be declared the father of that individual. So let's go to the next slide, Marcia. So paternity can affect your ability to inherit through a last will and testament. So in previous programs, we've been talking about persons dying testate and persons dying intestate. And we're looking now at persons who die testate. They die with last will and testament.
Yes.
And you will find that there are certain wills that have been drafted with these clauses in it. And one such clause is, I give my property, and it's just an example, I give my property situate at Lancaster to all my children. And all my children is a general term. And when you have general terms in wills, there is the possibility, there is the risk of a misinterpretation. And we also have the risk of persons being excluded. That is why it's very important when you're drafting wills to be as specific as possible. So when you have this term in a will that says all my children, only those persons that can prove that they are the children of the testator will be able to inherit under that clause in the will. Because
so let me ask you something. If they had put the names of the children there, that could work?
Yes, that would suffice to be able to show who are the children. So even if, and that's a very important question, even if one of those names, and you look at their birth certificate, and the father's name is not on the birth certificate, they will still be able to inherit because their specific name was referred to by the testator in the will. But when you have a general clause that only refers to children, then you now have to go and look and see who are the legitimate children. Not just because I also want persons to understand the legitimate and illegitimate, that difference and definitions, those are no longer part of the law. So children born out of wedlock are still children in the eyes of the law here in Barbados. But when I say illegitimate, I'm talking about persons whose father's name may not be on their birth certificate. So they now have to prove, unless there is some specific name mentioned in the will, they will have to prove that that individual was indeed their father. But to answer your question, as long as you have the specific name of your child or your children inside of the will, that will suffice.
Yes.
That will suffice for them to be able to inherit. We also have another example where a will says, I give my property situated at Diamond Corner to all my grandchildren. Again, all my grandchildren is a general term. And the children of the testator's male children will now have to prove paternity to be able to inherit their grandfather's estate. And this is important because sometimes we have estates where it is the great grandparent, the grandparent who has mentioned this, all my grandchildren in the will, and you now have to determine who are all of the grandchildren. And a grandchild who cannot trace their lineage through the necessary documentation may have the possibility of being excluded from inheriting that.
Wow.
So it delays matters, Marcia. And you have to go and pay more money. You have to go and get advice from an attorney to see what you're going to do in this circumstance. Because
you know what? One of the things that I've been every time you come on is about us being specific in the will.
Yes, yeah, I can't mention that too much. You have to be when you're drafting your will, when you are referring to your assets, when you're referring to your beneficiaries, make sure that you're able to identify. Make sure that anyone reading that will be able to identify your assets and identify your beneficiaries with certainty.
Yes.
If you can put where your beneficiaries currently reside, if you can give information as where they resided at some point in time so that they can be found, all that information is very important when you are drafting.
So in a case like this where a grandparent might want to say, well, I don't want to leave out any a grandchild that might be born after I am gone. So then probably that's why they would say all my grandchildren.
Right.
But then it can create more legal fees and it might be more costly because you have to prove.
Yeah. And you also have situations where you may have, yes, those grandchildren who are easily identified. They can trace their lineage through their birth certificates and there's no issue. They may have a problem with a child or a grandchild who may not have that proof. They may not have that direct proof of them. They may challenge that grandchild and basically tell the court, well, I don't believe that person is my family. I don't believe that they are family to my grandmother or my grandfather, as the case may be. And they will challenge their ability to inherit through the court system.
Yes.
And that is very, very important.
Somebody here is saying that they prefer the DNA test and the birth certificate to determine one's paternity.
Right. Yes. So when you go into some more specific issues in paternity, and you have situations where, yes, someone's name is on the birth certificate as the father, but then you need a DNA test. The DNA test, will determine with even more specificity that this individual is either the father or not the father. So a biological test is very important in situations where paternity is an issue. You may not necessarily find in estate matters that persons rely on DNA tests. Normally, a person, when they have any sort of issue, paternity issue in estate matters, sometimes the mother is still alive. And the mother can sign an affidavit verifying that she was in a relationship with that gentleman at the birth. When that child was born, they were in a relationship of some permanence. They were living together. They were in an intimate relationship. And the mother now is able now to tell the court, this was the situation when our child was born. And this is the reason why his name was not on the birth certificate.
Yes.
then this will be evidence before the court. But then we have some estate matters where the mom is no longer with us. And then you may now have to rely on the evidence of a brother,
Mm-hmm.
uncle, an aunt, and you're basically at their mercy. Because if they don't give you the evidence,
Right.
then you are in trouble. You are in trouble. So that is why it is best not to put your children, if you want your children to inherit, and you know that your name is not on their birth certificate, it is best to nip these things in the bud when you are drafting your will. Make sure you name them specifically. And if you go to the next slide.
Yeah. Very, very important.
All right, so I spoke a little bit about this just now. So proving paternity is much easier when the father is alive. And if the father is alive, then he can sign an affidavit verifying that he is the father and apply to have his name added to the child's birth certificate. Now, the unfortunate thing here, Marcy, is that paternity issues in estate matters usually only arise after the death
Yes.
of the loved one, because it is only at that time that persons recognize the need
Mm-hmm.
to resolve these paternity issues. But it's always best that paternity issues are resolved while everyone is still with us on the earth. That really is the best time. But of course, these things will still arise in estate matters. These issues will always arise in estate matters. And we're coming down the road. So when you decide, so we have given you some practical advice here. When you decide to make a will, ensure that you name all your children specifically, and do not use general terms such as all my children. Now, remember, Marcia, you spoke about children that may not be here as yet.
Yes.
Now, so I'm going to ask this question. What happens to an unborn child? You have a child who is still in its mother's womb, and the father dies before the child is born. What happens in that situation? Will the child still be able to inherit if that term, all my children, is used? Well, it's really a rhetorical question, because I'm going to answer it too. So the answer to that question is yes. If the will refers to all my children is interpreted to mean unborn children, children still in the womb. The child must be in the womb, and the child must be born. So everything must go well with the birth, and the child comes into this world. As long as that occurs, the child will be able to inherit under that clause, all my children. But all my children does not refer to a child that really is not in contemplation whatsoever. The child must be in the mother's womb to be able to come under that general term of all my children. And that is important. Because that unborn child is vulnerable, not just vulnerable physically, but as relates to their legal rights. It is very important that the courts recognize and acknowledge their legal rights to the estate of their father. Remember, the father has died, so there's no way for the father's name to be on the birth certificate. And this is where DNA may come into play to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond any other possibility, that this child belongs to the deceased gentleman. Right, so that's just important. That's a very important point.
Somebody is saying, but I think this is answered already. If somebody, the child was not from that father, but the father was tricked in believing that that was his child.
Right.
The DNA and all of that would take care of that, right?
Yeah, DNA would take care of that. Now, if remember DNA, you can only take DNA from, yes, you can take DNA, should be able to take DNA from a body that is not alive, but it becomes more difficult when the gentleman or the father has been deceased for quite a while. If there's any challenge to the fact that that child was never really his, then you still need to provide the evidence that will overturn. Because if that gentleman's name is listed as the father in the birth certificate, then you have a document that proves paternity. And to be able to overturn that document, you need evidence. You need substantial evidence, something that is substantial enough to overthrow what is written in the birth certificate. And yes, DNA will be able to do that. You may be able, and I'm just thinking about the situation, you may be able to get DNA from the fathers or from the gentleman's family members. That may be able to help, but it will still be a long shot, Marcia, to be able to prove these things, especially when a lot of time has passed.
So try to do it before. Somebody saying here, Business Finance is asking, do these paternity issues require that notices be published in the press?
Yes, if you are applying for gentleman, any gentleman, to be declared in law to be your father, even if this gentleman is deceased, then you will have to publish the notice in the newspaper that you have made this application to the court.
Oh, wow.
So that there's any individuals who see the notice and they want to challenge your application, they're free to do so. But you must let the entire world know that you are making this application.
Oh, wow.
And this is the application for a declaration that this gentleman is or was your father when he died.
When he died. So you can put that in the newspaper. Somebody is saying here, I think I'm not the lawyer, but I think I know the answer to this from what you've been saying. The other classes, I have 2 children and I don't plan on leaving a will. Should I leave a will for both of them or it doesn't matter?
Right. So should I leave a will for both of them? Well, I always go on the side of having a will and making sure their names are in the will. I don't want to make sure that I'm answering the question and I understand the question. Right. So I always, even though there's no issue as it relates to who is your children, there is no issue whatsoever, no paternity issues, nothing at all, I still prefer to have a will.
I think they're saying, you know what, if I have 2 children and I have 2 houses, well, I told Pam this is yours and I told John this is yours.
That is fine, but I still prefer. I still prefer that you make a will, and even if the only way that you shouldn't make a will is if you're going to give these assets to your children while they are still alive. While you're still alive. So if you are going to do a deed of gift, transfer these assets to the children. You can even transfer the assets to the children and yourself, so that when you die, it automatically goes to the named child, to the survivor. So, but if you are leaving it, if you're not transferring it throughout your lifetime, I still prefer to have wills done.
Yeah, or do it. In your. I know all these terms now. You know, a deed of gift.
Yes.
Wonderful. Guys, any other questions? Please put them in the comment section. We have literally 8 more minutes to go. Go ahead, Attorney Beckles.
Yes. Right. So to be safe, ensure that your name is on your children's birth certificates, just to be safe. So when you're doing your estate planning, yes, you acknowledge them as your children, but it's still good to ensure that all of your children's names, your name, is on your children's birth certificate. So there is no issue whatsoever for them if an unfortunate event occurs.
Let me ask you something. Somebody's asking, why does the world have to know? Why do you need to declare this to the world in the you know, in the
Right,
press,
the application.
the application.
Right. So because there will be, or there is the possibility that someone will challenge the application. Because you're asking something, you're asking the court to do something to make a very important decision. Now remember, this gentleman is no longer with us. He's
Yes.
deceased. And you're asking the court to declare that this gentleman who is not here, to give evidence, you're asking the court to declare that he is your father. And not only that, you're asking the court to place his name on your birth certificate as your father. So it's a very important claim that you're making, and it's a very important request that you're making from the court. So the court must ensure that the entire process is fair. So this is not a process that should be done in secret. It is not a process that should be done pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. Everybody should be able to know that you are making this application. And if there's anyone who has an interest in the application, anyone who may disagree,
Yes.
I see the comment here, maybe contested. If there's anyone that wants to contest that application, they should get full opportunity to do so. And that is why you have to advertise that you are making this application to the court. Because the court, well, the law is in trying to ensure that the process is fair. And that everybody, even if no one responds, at least we have evidence that you advertise in a daily newspaper in Barbados. And there is a possibility that persons would have seen it and said, well, I'm not bothering with contesting that. But there has to be evidence that you invited others, allowed others to know that you're making this application to the court.
Yeah. Someone is asking, is there a way to bypass taking out letters of administration?
Well, there is a way to bypass that, or the only way really to bypass taking out letters of administration is if the assets were given during the lifetime of the deceased, or if there is a trust in place. So there's really very limited ways to bypass, or limited circumstances in which you can bypass taking out letters of administration. As long as that individual, that deceased individual, had assets that were not distributed prior to their death, it's only in limited circumstances, Marcia, that you'll be able to bypass letters of administration. We have situations, just quickly, like a vehicle. Now, the only way to sell the vehicle of that deceased individual is if you, well, not the only way, but the legal way, the usual way that you will normally sell that vehicle is first obtaining letters of administration to the estate and then using that letters of administration to sell the vehicle. That is the usual way, or the proper way that it should be done. Now, there are individuals who may not have known that you needed letters of administration, or the individuals who were in possession of the vehicle prior to the death of their loved ones, and they may have sold the vehicle. Right? The law is not going to be too hard and fast on you, but it is always good that you do things the right way.
Yes, yes.
Right? And the right way is normally getting letters of
administration. Someone is saying here, I need to get my dad's name changed on my birth certificate. It is correct for my siblings, but he also used another name which is on mine. So it's correct for on the siblings, but on their
right, yes, yes.
It's another name.
Right, which is just it could be a clerical error. In fact, in Barbados, this is a common.
They want to know what is the process.
Yeah, this is a common process. This is a common error. Now, is Dad still alive? If Dad is still alive, it is a very easy change. Dad can just inform the registry, and they will start the process from there to get his name, or his correct name, placed on the birth certificate. Now,
he's deceased, the person said.
Right. So If he's deceased and you are applying for letters of administration or even probate, there is a document called an affidavit of one and the same. Because in Barbados, in the Caribbean, we are individuals who are known by many different names.
Yes, nicknames.
We have one name on our Barbados identification card or your Trinidadian identification card. You have another name on your birth certificate. You have another name on your NIS card. You are known by another name on the Electoral and Boundaries Commission. So your name is different all over. And so in those situations where the person may be deceased and you still have to conduct business on behalf of their estate, you will file something called an affidavit of one and the same. And this affidavit is basically saying that this gentleman who is named in this particular way, and this other name that is different, maybe spelled differently, maybe even a totally different name, but still the same last name. You are basically telling the court that these three names all refer to the same individual. These three names all refer to the same individual, and you provide the evidence. You'll provide the national identification card, you'll provide the birth certificate, you'll provide even the marriage certificate, because there are persons' names who are different on their marriage certificate. But you will show that all of these names refer to the same person. And that will suffice. So it is not something that will prevent, if you are applying for letters of administration, different names is not going to prevent you from obtaining your letters of administration, but you still have to verify or confirm to the registry that these names all refer to the same individual. Yes,
Wow.
State your full name, and say in the comment there, state your full name. In fact, which is also a very important point, before I know that the time is running out, Marcia. Very important point. When you are doing your will, you can say, well, I, Corey Beckles, also known as Corey Beckles, and Corey could be spelled differently, Corey, Corey, but it is best to put almost all of your names. Put as many names as you are known by in your will.
That's interesting. That's good. That's a good advice there. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. All the different names you put in there.
That you can think of, even a nickname.
Yes.
Put it in your will so that there is no issues as relates to identifying who this name belongs to. Yeah.
That's what is to be clear, specific.
Yes, I can. If that is the theme of my presentation every Monday, it will be specific. Be specific.
And get a will. Don't leave it. Don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it for them to figure it out. Put it in a will.
Yes, I always prefer a will. If you do not want a will, then I would advise you, or your attorney would advise you, well, go a different route.
Deed of gift.
Yes, deed of gift. Deed of gift or trust.
Or what? Or put them in a trust.
Put it in a trust.
Yes, right? I remember that.
If you're not going to do those two things, then I still prefer having a will. Even if it's simple. Even if your life is simple and your estate is simple, I still prefer wills.
Yes. Well, Kalert is saying thank you. He said it was so educational. He's the one that was asking that specific question. Really appreciate your presentations. And well, because we have to end now, because these things I love Monday nights, I got all these notes in my book here. I want to say to anybody who is watching, if you still have questions, just reach out to me and I can provide you with Attorney Beckles' number. That's okay, Attorney Beckles?
Yeah, that is fine.
I can provide you with his number so you can ask any questions that you have, okay? And so that you can be educated in any final word before we go to Mr. Alwyn Babb.
Right. Yes. So very quickly, when you are planning your estate, remember paternity issues. If you know that there is the possibility that paternity issues will arise, then make sure you let your attorney know. Make sure you advise him or her of the issue, and I'm certain that your attorney will be able to let you know what you should do in those circumstances.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Each week, I mean, when we think that, oh my goodness, you learn so much. Each week you come and you add another layer. And I think the PowerPoint is great. I love it. Because it's helping us to understand. I appreciate the time that you've taken to put it all together. Thank you so much, Attorney Beckles,
Thank
and
you
wishing
also.
you all the best in your practice.
Yes, thanks for listening. Have a good evening.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Yes. Wow, I tell you, this family is growing, and the knowledge is increasing, and it's exciting. We were talking about mosquitoes, the tiny threat with big consequences with Maurice Gaskin. Then we talk about paternity in estate matters with Corey Beckles, and now we have a teacher. These are all professionals. A teacher is coming on, Mr. Alwyn Babb, and people that, oh, he's so intelligent, making his head swell, but he is. He's a very intelligent man. Every time he calls in or comes on, everybody, oh, Mr. Babb is so intelligent. My husband says he's such an intelligent man. And well, here is a Mr. Babb. And I can tell you, this is gonna go even higher right now. Mr. Babb, welcome to the Marcia Reed Show.
Good night, good night, good night to your listeners, and good night to the lawyer opposition. And yes, it's good to be here. Just rushing around.
Yeah.
But I'm here. Education is a very important part of the socialization and the upward mobility of our people, and it cannot be left to chance.
Mm-hmm.
And any changes cannot be rushed. Any changes that are made should be changes that benefit the children and not cause more anxiety either to teachers or to parents. And tonight we want to look at some of those areas that parents and teachers are concerned about, to see if they are legitimate, and to recognize if they are putting the children at an even greater disadvantage as it now exists with the 11 plus exam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you sent me 2 links, and I'm going to see. Just give Dave a heads up so he can prepare them for us. But there is a lot of talk about common entrance and changes in common entrance. Can you tell us what are some of those proposed changes at this moment that people need to be aware of?
They are proposing to replace the current 11 plus exam with a school-based assessment starting in class 3 and continuing into class 4, and which will then be followed with a written exam.
So let's break that down for people. When you say a school-based assessment, explain what is that?
In class 3 and class 4, the children will be they will be given choice of 3 projects, and they will complete those projects as group work, and it will make up for 50% of the mark, and then the written exam will be 50% of that mark.
Okay. So the group work, the group project, and what you've done in school will be 50% of the mark. So
50%, yes.
50%. And then the exam will be 50%. So will the exam, right now the exam is math and English. Would that exam continue to be math and English?
I believe so, because in class 3, they will end. Let me get it for you. In class 3, you will teach. I'm getting all of it for you right now.
Guys, in the meantime, please share, because this is important. This is a big change. You know, that is happening in education. This is major. I know some of you stand on different sides of this.
Yeah.
But let's get to the facts
Yes.
of what is
The children, yes, that was happening in class 3. The children would take English and science, and then they will focus on social studies and math in class 4.
Okay, so English and science
in class 3. English and social study and math in class 4.
Okay. So you're saying in class 4 they're not going to do any English?
That is what some persons are wondering, what if that is the case. And you would recognize, if you go back to some of the results which I saw, you will see those top 10 performers, or the top performers, score very high in the math, 90 plus to 100 in math and English. But then you see an essay grade of DC, and very seldom any A's. And that is a concern as well. So if you're only going to focus on English and science in class 3, and then social study and math in class 4, what are you saying to the teacher? Because if class 4 is the focus for these 2 other subject areas, then you have dropped class. Are you dropping English from the preparation?
Right.
Part of the preparation. That is what they're concerned about.
Right. Okay. So are we listening up, folks? And this is important. I was just at a graduation today, St. Ambrose. Wonderful children. They're wonderful teachers, St. Ambrose Primary. And I want to give a shout out to my adopted grandson. I don't know. I was told today everywhere I went, is this your grandson? I'm my grandson. I didn't know I could have grandchildren. But let me give a shout out to St. Ambrose Primary, and those children they've just completed the common entrance. And so if you have children in class 3 or grandchildren, you've got to listen up. So the English and science in class 3, and then social studies and math in class 4. So now the 50% class work is going to be based on class 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So English, science, social studies, and math.
Yes.
So those are the 4 areas. And then the 50% of the actual exam now,
yes,
would be based on the 4 areas.
I am not sure what it's going to be based on.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to find in my notes, but I've not seen it that the 50%. I don't know. It's just math and English, or all the 4 areas that will be tested.
Okay. So then there will be no more composition then.
I am wondering that, but I'm wondering if that is
these
the
are
case.
questions.
These are questions that need to be asked, because the technocrats from the ministry are out there selling it to parents, and these are questions that they're asking. Now, the parents made it clear they're not against changes, and not against change, but is how the change is being done and why it seems to be rushed. The implementation, and we have even some persons, lecturers, saying, why not? What about pilot? Some teachers are also asking, why not do this kind of implementation from class 1 coming up?
Because and that's what was going in my mind.
The English is such a big syllabus that can you complete it just in class 3?
No, that's why I asked the question. I've taught English, and I know that it's a challenge, and those compositions and so on. Why are we doing it in 1 year? I would love to know what their thinking is. We have one of those. She is a UE lecturer here, and she's asking questions. Lack of pilot for new secondary school assessment. Go ahead and play, Dave. Thank you.
A pilot allows the ministry to test the system on a scale, identify weaknesses, correct implementation challenges, and build confidence before the model is rolled out nationally. This is even more important when the assessment is high stakes and will have implications for students' transition to secondary school. A sensible approach would have been to select a small number of schools representing different contexts, for example, based on their size, location, public versus private schools, and schools with varying levels of resources, and allow them to trial the proposed changes while the existing BSSEE continued. This would have provided time to examine how the continuous assessment component will actually work in practice.
Can you play that again, Dave, from the top? Just play that again. And I'm glad she's speaking up.
A pilot allows the ministry to test the system on a smaller scale, identify weaknesses, correct implementation challenges, and build confidence before the model is rolled out nationally.
Yes, continue, please.
This is even more important when the assessment is high stakes and will have implications for students' transition to secondary school. A sensible approach would have been to select a small number of schools representing different contexts, for example, based on their size, location, public versus private schools, and schools with varying levels of resources, and allow them to trial the proposed changes while the existing BSSEE continued. This would have provided time to examine how the continuous assessment component will actually work in practice.
Your comment on that, Mr. Babb. You are an educator.
It is a common sense approach. This government has to understand what education means to the Barbadian public. They have to understand that the anxiety that will be faced by parents, because every parent in Barbados, every Barbadian parent will want to know that my child is given the best opportunity without being disadvantaged to get into the secondary system. So you're having an experiment happening from September, and you're having so many questions, and then you're given a 50-50. I believe that one thing there was some talk about 60-40, where the 40% of the coursework or the SBA, which is done during the class time 3 and 4, and then 60% of the written exam. I know that some technocrats believe that 50-50 should not be part of the equation. And we know
what is the reason for saying that?
Because even when you're doing your SBA, even now at SBA at school, and even within a whole school setting, even if you're taking forward continuous assessment and you're doing your SBA, it is not split 50-50, not even at CSE. The heavier weight is on the written exam. Because you know, Marcy, that when you have group work, and they're saying that these projects will be group work. Here you are, you're taking a 9-year-old. And you know the difficulty that we have with persons who are 19 years old working together. And then you're saying you're going to do group work as part of an assessment with that young age. So that is why parents are concerned. And I believe that the Barbadian parents, they are reasonable.
Yeah, yes, but is the parent? Let's break that down. Let's break it down, Mr. Babb. If my child is in class 3, and they I know that it's 50% of this group work. What's going to happen? As a parent, I'm going to do that. They're
saying that the group work is done during class time.
Oh my Lord. Okay, so it's done
in class. You're not taking it home. The work is work that is being done at school, if I read correctly.
Wow, how the teacher is going to that's going to be difficult.
No, that is now the teacher, the workload of the teacher. And then you have and then you have your teacher.
And 1 second, and they have to teach curriculum as well?
It appears so, unless they're going to hire more teachers.
Because you're not right now. I mean, how are we going to be finished? These are just questions we're asking. We don't know.
Yes. So these are with it. Nobody is. When you listen to the meetings, the parents just want to understand and to be clear in their minds that this is going to work and is a better system than what we have now. But based on the last meeting and what was said, there are no wiser. Sometimes I think because it is being rushed, it places the technocrats in education in a sticky position when you have to carry out the demands and wishes of one person. Why don't you listen to the persons who was doing this for, and the teachers who do it for a living?
Yes, yeah. There's another. Here's a video of the parents. Some concerned teachers and parents. They're challenging the proposed secondary school entry assessment at a town hall. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you.
For class 4 students, they spend 1 year being apprehensive, anxious, stressed, along with their parents and families. Now you are extending this 1 year period to 2 years.
We are the parents and we are confused. We do not know how we are going to function in this new system that's being thrusted upon us on a group of children who entered school at the event of COVID and spent the first 2 years at home, being only allowed 45 minutes on a screen to do schoolwork and would spend the other 6 hours while the parents are at home working on a screen.
A new assessment strategy, and we are still using a draft curricula from 2000. I hear that, I understand that curricula is being drafted. I saw all of the different committees and all that going on. However, it is still not available to us. I have not seen it as an educator. And now you are saying to me that come September, I have to prepare my children for this new assessment strategy without having the curricula.
For class 4 students, they spend 1 year being apprehensive.
Oh, that's it. Yes. No, the last person was the teacher, and even teachers are unclear. They have been kept in the dark. So how do I go into school as a teacher preparing these children in class 3 and class 4 for what would be more or less the biggest change in their lives? Because remember, when they get to secondary school, they're now going to do CXC. Some move into college. Some move from secondary school right into the world of work. So that is a major change that they're going to go through. And you know why parents are apprehensive? I'm going to tell you why. We had this government who came up with reform as a buzzword. Then the reform talk was abandoned. Nobody knows what has happened. Then we had the transformation that they have adopted. And under this government, the transformation, we heard at the outset about the middle school and schools of excellence. We don't hear about that anymore. Then we had renaming of classes to grades, which is supposed, I believe, to come from this, but we are not hearing anything about it. And this person made a point that several educators spoke at the last meeting, the ministry officials, because the ministry officials have been given the mandate that this is what it is.
Oh, so they can't. So why are we doing the town hall? Why are we doing the town hall if they've already made up their minds?
This is what it is. So that is why parents are apprehensive, because it seems that they are playing Russian roulette with education. You're trying this, it falls through. You're trying that, it falls through. And nobody hears anything about it. And here you are now, you have moved from what you're proposing at the secondary level, and now you're taking it to the primary school level at a very critical juncture in the lives of the children into the secondary school, without even completing or saying why you have abandoned, or if you have abandoned the reform, the transformation, the middle schools, the schools of excellence, and why you abandon it.
Yes. Somebody here wrote, they said, good night. This continuous assessment is more applicable for secondary school students, preferably from third form and not primary schools. This prepares them for tertiary level education, because that's what I was here thinking.
Right.
Because it's so difficult, Mr. Bob. You're at a secondary school. You know how difficult it is to get the students to work in groups. At that level as teenagers. This person said, madness. Parents will be fighting each other over this. Mark my words.
And I was made to understand that the entire proposal, the key stakeholders is the ministry, the teachers, the students, and the parents. But a crucial part of this whole thing that is missing is the teachers. The teachers who know the system, the teachers who know what they experience on a day-to-day basis and what can work within the system. So you need to, the minister and whoever it is that is pushing this need to listen, because or you're going to mess up our children.
Yeah.
You're going to move from a concern of 11 plus to chaos.
I mean, this you see, it's all about, I mean, you heard that educator saying that there is a new curriculum that they are supposed to be teaching in September. And this particular, in this news item here, Mr. Bob, the educator is saying that they have not seen the curriculum.
Yes.
So how are they going to prepare to teach it September? And it goes, David has something about the St. Michael's School. He's alleging that the staff, that there are 21 staff members that have not been paid, and there's just a general disregard, it seems, for the staff. How can you expect? I can't believe it. You believe that, educator, that they have not seen the curriculum, Mr. Bob? You believe?
She has no reason to stand in a public place, in a public forum and lie. But she was in a public forum and they could have refuted it right there and then, because the ministry officials were there. I think that, and there's a level of disrespect for teachers in Barbados.
Yes.
And it's annoying because it comes from the employer. You that is why you get some of the attitudes towards the teachers from the parents, because the employer treats them as if they don't matter. And a teacher touches every profession in this country. If you're a doctor, thank a teacher.
Yeah, and it's being alleged that staff members at St. Michael's School, that they have not been paid. I'm asking a question. I don't know. Somebody, that's a serious allegation.
But you're having a lot of that, because I just sent you something where the central bank is now apologizing to pensioners for some kind of mix-up that they get the pension.
But Mr. Bob, you hold it there, because what
is
happening,
and I want
Barbadians to realize
Marcia, but that is because these governments seem to be rushing.
That's the
They
point.
rushed legislation that had to come back. Remember the legislation about cybercrime bill and some other things that had to come. It keep rushing.
The hotels,
yes.
the what you call those homes that it just slipped my memory, but the hotels. You remember that whole bill there that Mr. Thorne fought. But listen. Yeah. So it seems, based on what you're saying and what the educators are saying, people in the chat are saying, who are educators are saying, they have not seen the curriculum.
Yeah.
Pedro says here, wait, when I realize that this has been the modus operandi from
since 2018, yes. It is this rush thing and don't get anything right. It has to happen now. We can take that as legislation, but when you mess up a child's life, it's scarred for life. You don't do that with children. This is too critical. It's too important to what to the the future of our children, to play with it and to experiment. You have to listen. You may have to carry out an agenda based on the money that you received, and it has to be spent in a certain way and by a certain time. God forbid if you spend the money already, all of it. So therefore, in a position where this has to happen, however it happens, it has to happen, and this is how it has to happen. Because if you eat soldier man food, you can take soldier man blows. So if you take the people money and you do what you feel like with it, and now you're in a position where the deadline for implementation is upon you, tell the people, don't do this to our children. And the parents have a right, and the teachers have a right to say to the ministry officials that this is not good enough. Let me just plug in my laptop.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, while you're doing that, Kim Tae is saying that they consulted with Kim Tae is saying that they consulted with Columbia University in the USA, and they're going full speed ahead. And which I have to go back to Pedro's comment, because this is exactly what happens. You know, why are we then having the town hall meetings? I am not saying that you shouldn't have reform, but something like this, as somebody said, you know, the children have been preparing for the common entrance since they went to infants into class 1, and then you are going to change it midway. And the reason, if this is true, this is what Kim Tae is saying. I wasn't at the meeting, I'm just reading here. If this is true, Kim Tae, what you're saying, that they've consulted with Columbia University in the USA and they're going full speed ahead, my understanding is that they were not really listening to the people at the town hall meetings. Those of you who are watching in government, because I know you watch this show, what's the purpose of the town hall meetings? Why is it that you can't implement anything? I mean, whatever you're implementing, I know that change is difficult for people, and you know that too. So why is it that the way you're going about bringing change is causing so much problem? I mean, discomfort and a lack of understanding. If you have educators who have not yet seen a curriculum that is to be taught in September, does that make sense to you? Go ahead, Mr. Babb.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. But but I'm saying that all the questions that parents and teachers have, they are legitimate. All of them. And if you're having a system which is going to have so much an impact on so many children, then you have to take your time. The call for a pilot is legitimate. Some person have even suggested, because of the amount of work that you're now asking and to cover, and there's some concerns with the fall off in the grades of composition grades, that this should be something that starts to be implemented from class 1. That is the suggestion.
Yes, to go from class 1.
And not every school. So you work out what can go wrong, but don't let everything go wrong at the same time. And then you're running helter-skelter to correct and to apologize.
Not with children, not with people's education. I'm waiting to see what the parents of these parents that love their children. I want to see if the red Kool-Aid, I'm here thinking about it, the red Kool-Aid is going to be stronger than their love and concern for those children that those parents carried for 9 months in their womb, in the case of the woman. Mm-hmm. I want to see what is going to be the response from the parents in this country.
Yeah, because because I'm here, I'm seeing a headline: Ministry presses ahead with education reform.
This is June 23rd, 2026. So
Yeah.
even though you have technocrats, you have education, all these people are raising concern, education personnel, educators, people who are into research, all these people, they're raising concerns. Parents are raising concerns. They press ahead because they did a study. The Columbia University, they have sanctioned this. So why are you having town hall meetings?
Yes. Because you made the decision. And they do it all the time. They say to us, we're going to have town hall meetings to discuss what you have decided, not to help you reach a decision. Because when you're having town halls, you're listening to the pros and cons, and then you go back in your smaller committees, and then based on the information gathered, you then start to look at implementation. They do it. They do it backwards. They come with the decision and want us teachers and parents to rubber stamp it. But if we continue to do it, we will have been mad. We will be worse than them, because that is not the way you do it. And they need to listen.
Well, this is BIMPay 102, and Dave, you can check your WhatsApp. I just sent you a picture there. This is BIMPay. Well, all of them. It's rushed. All of this is rushed. This time though, I want to see if the parents of Barbados are going to sit down and allow them to bring this to the children of Barbados come September morning. I will just wait to see.
Because you're playing a guessing game. You can't be doing that at the same. You're not ready, because some questions asked, pertinent questions, were left unanswered. And then you're doing SBA and projects, which brings into consideration the resources, materials, etc. I know of parents who told me that every September or every term, they have to send 2 reams of paper to school. Yes. They have to buy Bristol boards. So if you're given projects, then you're going to give the book list, added to the book list that is given to some parents. Like, remember, night on your program, the persons were given a detailed list of what they need to bring at nursery level and that kind of thing. Expensive. So this list that parents have to provide in a struggling economy to buy food, we're going to extend that list to bring the materials to complete the projects. Our teachers now expected to bring more from home, and they spend their salary purchasing equipment, because even at this stage, where the demand is not for any SBA or projects, that they have to spend their money. Some persons say you even have to buy sew on your own paper. What are these people doing? Are they ready? Why are you taking this and rushing it as if that is something draft that you have to be pushed? There has to be a reason why they're pushing it. Something or someone is saying it has to be done. No. And this is how it has to be done.
Yeah. And we think we know who that is. We know that's Miss Murray. It is Miss Murray who is in a hurry. That's you gave me that. Miss Murray in a hurry. The same Miss Murray who told it was said that same Miss Murray said, don't do the BIMPay in 4 years, do it in 18 months.
Somebody is saying, somebody's have a comment here that was first aired by Santia Bradshaw 4 years ago. I don't know who true. We have to find that article. So they can't turn back now. The town hall meetings were meant for parent sensitization. Well, parents are very sensitive to what proposals are going to affect their children, and they are voicing their concerns, and they're going to be loud about it. You see, look at it. To go back to the heading, look at the word. Education gets near to 90 million to accelerate reform agenda. They'll be on a very slippery slope, steep one as well, downhill when it comes to this education, and now the 11 plus. So now they've turned the attention away from the secondary schools to they have not completed anything in any changes in the secondary schools. All the talk, remember they had a big production in the gymnasium, and CF got involved, and I think somebody was reciting the whole thing in I thought it was rhythm poetry. Then you had teachers being called to UE for big meetings for all of this, and it has come to nothing.
Yeah. This is quite but I am curious. I am curious to see what Barbadians are going to say about
that.
this.
That is it. Yes,
that's the thing. What are they going to see now? Because you can do all these different things. Do what? Okay, but this is not my child.
Yeah,
this is my offspring. Wow. This is quite interesting. Well, we're going to keep following this, Mr. Babb, and we have to definitely keep following this. And parents, if you know anything, and you want to send it to us, send it to myself. I pass it on to Mr. Babb, because we're going to stay on this. We're not giving up on this one at all. And somebody said, what happened to the 15 million they got for education? Yes, the money is what motivates Miss Murray. Miss Murray is in a hurry because of money. I want money.
Yes,
that is Miss Murray for you. Parents at a town hall on Thursday warned that group project marks could penalize hard-working pupils as they challenge education officials to explain how continuous assessment would protect individual achievement.
That is why the 50-50 is a problem.
They need to put less on the SBAs.
Yes.
The school-based assessment.
Yes.
Yes, I'm now understanding the fullness of it.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. They said to read some more. Let's read some more before we close out this segment. And we're going to take a look at the Right Honorable Freundel Stuart, some of the points that he made last night. We want to review them before we go tonight. We're in school,
Yes.
Can we read it?
No. It is very small.
Very small. We might not be able to get to that one.
David work his magic.
Yes.
If he's
and all right, so let him do that while he's working on it, and then we will be. Anything else you want to add to this discussion tonight, Mr. Babb?
I think that I think that whoever is pushing this agenda needs to listen to the technocrats within the ministry, and I want them to understand that ministers come, prime ministers come and go, but the technocrats work because they are professional at what they do. And you cannot bring agenda to persons who have all of these years experience and will guide and the civil servants and the chief educational officer and the permanent secretaries are there to guide you. You need to listen. You need to listen to what they're saying, especially when it comes to our children.
Yeah. Somebody said they will say nothing. I really am hoping. I'm waiting to see what the Barbadian parents are going to say about this.
Right.
Exactly what would happen. And this Dave, are you ready with the article? Not yet. No. Well, you know what? Last night, a lot of what we're talking about here tonight, Mr. Babb, is leading us into what the Right Honorable Freundel Stuart was saying, and I think this is what the parents and the teachers are experiencing, where he said there's an attack on our democracy. But let's just read, since we had planned. Thank you, Dave. Let's read what we have on the screen, and then we're going to get ready, folks who want to jump into the Right Honorable Freundel Stuart's address last night. Want to break it down a little further. Parents at a town hall on Thursday warned that group project marks could penalize hardworking pupils as they challenged education officials to explain how continuous assessment would protect individual achievement under the proposed primary to secondary placement model. The officials sought to reassure parents about the continuous assessment component of the proposed replacement for the Barbados secondary school entrance examination, which would now account for 50% of a student's placement score. But Raphael Saul, the father of a 9-year-old who would join the first cohort under the proposed system in September, suggested that while he supported project-based learning and recognized the value of collaboration, a student's placement score could be influenced by others' performance in a group. He first asked whether students would receive marks only for their individual contribution or whether a group score would also form part of their overall assessment. Deputy Chief Education Officer for Planning and Development, Reverend Stephen Scott, confirmed that both would count. So there's a group component and then there's the individual component, the Reverend Scott said. Both components will receive a mark, and combined, then the student will receive that mark. Reverend Scott likened the approach to the SBA using English at the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, the CSEC level, in which students collaborate on research before producing an individual piece of work. So therefore, at the end of the day, you do get a group mark for those other aspects, and then you get also that individual mark as part of your mark, he said. But Saul argued that while group projects are valuable for teaching teamwork and collaboration, they should not affect the score used to determine a child's placement in secondary school. I am very on the same page with you as it relates to group projects and their value, he said. The challenge I have, though, is that a child who may work well individually and who may even contribute well in his or her group can end up in a situation where the group's grade ends up reducing their overall score. In my view, respectfully, that does not, in fact, produce the result that the ministry wants, because what the ministry wants, as I understand it, is a better picture of a child's individual ability. But is that really what the ministry wants? He suggested that group projects remain an important teaching tool, but recommended that only a student's individual contribution be used to calculate the continuous assessment score for placement purposes. In response, the acting chief education officer, Julia Beckles, stressed that the project should not be viewed as one-off assignment, but as a culmination of a 2-year learning process. When we talk about the projects, we're talking about the end of a process. Beckles says, all along the process, the child is being taught. First of all, the child is being taught. Yes, the child is being evaluated. The teacher is taking note of strengths, taking note of weaknesses, and more importantly, the teacher now has the time to try to assist in the child's improvement in areas where weaknesses have been identified. All mumbo jumbo talk, because it does
because they're placed in a position, they have to give a word. That's a word salad.
Yes.
So she talk, trying to explain and to sell this thing because they were told that is what you have to do. This is what this particular person want. This, so that's a word salad. It's so confusing because if you have to say so much to try to get something over, there's something is not right. She gave me the I'm sorry, Deputy Chief gave me a word salad there that
Correct, correct. That is what this is something that we really need to, and I know that change is usually difficult for people, and I think if you are, this is you're an educator, you're governing a country, you should understand those social dynamics and
yes.
how people respond to change. And so what the educator from the university is suggesting is doing it in stages, and as she puts it, let's do a pilot, right? Do a small number of
Mhm.
schools representing different contexts, and then she's saying a trial,
Mhm.
do a trial, you're right, and do some tests and so on before and start it earlier. Don't just the way you're going to start it on the class threes,
Hmm.
that is it. So
Yeah.
whew, this is a lot to unpack,
Yes.
and it leads us into what Mr.
Sure.
Freundel Stuart was speaking about yesterday. And Dave, I don't know if you have go ahead and let's play this. Let's play this first clip, and let's have a discussion about it. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you. In the meantime, guys, please like and share. Okay, I think there's a little challenge there, but give me your overall assessment, Mr. Babb, of what you heard last night from.
It was timely and it needed to be said because we have some people in Barbados who believe that whatever this government does is well done. Meanwhile, the decisions taken are affecting us every day. And a lot of people go around and speak, and they're speaking in hushed tones because they have their mortgages to pay. They are placed now on contract work, and they're hoping that they don't say anything. They're trying not to say anything to offend for fear that they do not get their contracts
Mhm.
for the next cycle. So I'm saying that Mr. Stuart, the former Prime Minister of Barbados, said what needed to be said and what needed to be exposed, and to really put in context what has happened to our parliament based on some of the things that were passed. And we have representatives like lambs to the slaughter, and a sheep before her shearers dumb walk
Yes.
right over a cliff and give up their rights, and nobody said anything about it. All we were distracted with, they don't want them to cross, but it fundamentally, the fundamentals and what really happened, nobody spoke about until Stuart brought it to the fore last night.
So this democracy that we fought so hard for, and we got the first glimmer of hope around in 1951, and that we managed maturely until very recent, is now, I can tell you, under attack. Democracy dies behind closed doors. It dies in dark places. And you have to keep an eagle eye out for all of these seemingly innocuous changes taking place around you, when in fact, when they all add up, you are living in a Barbados that is changed, and you can't even recognize what has been changing. So that is my third area of concern, that anti-defection legislation, that has to be fixed. You don't get the right, you don't get your right to the freedom of association taken away and just sit back and do nothing about it. Your freedom of speech. And that is what has happened with that legislation. I was sick to the stomach, comrades and friends, when I sat and listened to the vote being taken in that debate, on that measure. And I heard all the I. Everybody saying yes. And I said, well, what is this? Do they know that they are really handing away rights that belong to them in the Constitution of Barbados? You know, I did a little classics when I was at school. The Roman Emperor Tiberius, whenever he went to consult with his Senate, and he watched them bowing and scraping before him, toadying up to him, as he walked away, as he left the Senate, he would say, in Latin, of course, O homines ad servitutem paratus. These men, so ready to be slaves.
Wow.
He couldn't believe that men could be so ready to be slaves.
You know, I want to thank the viewer who, was able to
Clean it
clip
up.
this for us and raise the volume. Thank you so much, because I was at graduation the entire day and we couldn't get anything done. And by the time I got home, somebody had this in my WhatsApp messages. I want to thank that viewer. Because it takes all of us working together, and I love that when you guys, even if I don't respond to you, it doesn't mean that I haven't seen it. You know, I'm using the material that you're sending me, okay? And I want to thank this viewer. There's something that the viewer pointed out, Mr. Babb, and other viewers, that a part of this clip was played on Starcom. However, the part about where he said about slaves, right? That part that would connect with the people, they did not, Starcom did not play it. I don't have the time to play Starcoms, but everybody could go and listen. So Starcom, it is based on what I heard, Starcom, it seems as though you did not play the entire clip. And the question is, why not? Why not? Is it that you're afraid? Why didn't you do it? You're afraid to offend people, and who? Who are you afraid to offend? If the man made a statement and it's not defamatory, why did you only broadcast a piece of it? Isn't that interesting, Mr. Babb?
Yes, because the word slaves and what he is saying is connects what they have done. They have made themselves slaves to the Prime Minister. They cozy up. They say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That reminds me of a British comedy, Yes, Prime Minister. And whether it is as stupid as the word itself, yes, I. Just to stay in good books.
Yes. Yeah.
Because like it or not, a lot of them, and they know it, and she knows it, would not have won their seats had not been for her intervention. People would tell you in some of those marginal seats that I voted for Mayor Motley. They didn't care how bad agriculture was. They didn't care how poor health was. It doesn't matter to didn't matter to them at that point in time that education was in chaos. They voted for a particular person and not the actual candidate. So that is why they are in that particular situation. We had the one person who was elected in the city, And if he had run on a DLP ticket, he want to get in, he will be treated just like all the others. So they know that they had to agree.
Yeah, to agree. But you see, I want people, Mr. Babb, to let's think about the issue that is happening right now, where so many parents are concerned about the changes in education for their in primary education and how children are assessed. If those in parliament who are elected to represent the people would sit in parliament and allow their rights to be taken from them,
Yes.
the freedom of speech, right, the freedom of association, all of their freedoms that's enshrined in the Constitution, if they could sit, Mr. Babb, and allow that, these are people that are elected to protect us,
Right.
to stand up for, they allow their rights to be taken. Can you imagine with this kind of climate, what is going to happen to the parents? You really think that the parents are going to stand up and fight for their children?
No. No minister is going to represent you because they did not value their own rights. They're not going to fight for you. So if you think that your representative is going to represent any of them in this situation, or even question the minister when this comes to Parliament, if they have a debate about it, they don't hold their breath, because when the time came for them to stand up for their own selves, they didn't.
Yeah. You know, I must remind people that we are taking calls. We are taking calls. It's now 9:32. And so I think I missed a call. If that was you, if you called earlier, please go, you can always call us again. Dave, we have another clip, but we want to, even if it takes us a couple weeks to go through this entire speech, I am not going to rush it.
No.
I refuse to rush this. This is a serious moment for Barbados. And we are seeing exactly why they would not want us to listen to this man. They want us to dismiss him.
Yes.
We are seeing exactly why. But we have a caller. Caller, good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Good night, Marcia. Good night, Mr. Babb.
Good night.
Loyal opposition.
Yes.
I am listening, and I wanted to say this quickly. We have to recognize the pattern here. There's a pattern. Whenever they want to tell you something that they know there's going to be some uproar, they always do it right before a major event. Now, they're just going to be ruffled by this whole situation on how they're going to roll out the school system, and you're going to go straight into problem. Guess what? Nothing's going to be done. They're not going to do anything. So this whole situation, there's a conditioning going on. This is how they do it. They put out an announcement, they ruffle everyone, and then you go straight into crop over or straight into a major event, and that's how they condition you.
Very well said. It is so true, most of anytime they want to do, this is something Miss McLean pointed out to us. That's why the show came into being, It wasn't, well, not that it came into being, but this aspect of the show, dealing with a lot of local issues, caller, because they were trying to do all those changes with pension reform during crop over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a major condition. Let it simmer, let you cook, and then you go straight. And then school's going to start, and there's going to be no more say.
Yeah. Very good observation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have you been listening? Let me call. Have you been listening to the former Prime Minister?
Yeah, he did a really good job. That was a really good job of dissecting exactly who they are and what they've been up to.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. And we are going to take our time with this. We're going to sit down on it. I want a segment each night to play a little piece, and we're going to sit down on this, caller. I think this is important. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. There's something that the person who prepared this clip said to me, that said, for all of us, we're watching, and by, because sometimes by the morning you have 4,000 or 5,000 people who have seen it. The couple thousands of people who watch these shows, it's like we're preaching to the church. And this is why it is so important, folks, that you share this to as many persons as possible. Share the shows. And not to promote us, but you could go and take this and cut it out. You could take it and cut it out and send it in your church WhatsApp groups. This is so important. It's almost like you're redeeming the psyche or the soul of the Barbadian people. Mr. Bob, this is so important that this goes out. And I know you have a comment on this, Dave. While we wait on the comment, I think Dave is saying we need to play the Starcom. Yes, the
Starcom clip. The Starcom clip.
Go ahead, Mr. Bob, and then we have a caller that I see a caller coming in. I'll call her
Go
back.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead,
ahead. Okay, I'm saying that that Mr. Stuart and some other persons need to be heard as well. On education, we should be hearing from Mr. Jones as well, because these are men who serve for an extended period of time. And I want the people of Barbados to understand that there is no one party who has all the answers. So therefore, when people are going to give the impression that a party which has literally changed the landscape of Barbados, and you're saying to young voters and young Barbadians to ignore that foundation and that philosophy by the Democratic Labour Party, who, when in government, changed the whole outlook of workers, of education, health, and you're saying to Barbadian people, that's an institution that you should trust. Why? These are people that you should listen to. But history says that the Democratic Labour Party, when in government, they made great strides that this same Barbados Labour Party built on. And if you want to look to something that is current, I see them in the paper taking a big award for the best Dos Santos lab. I saw them with big smiles as if it was created by them. We saw them cover up a plaque that was of a place that was open and open it again. So I'm saying that elections come, elections go. Parties and governments change, and parties go through a transition. But don't we ever be sold? We get this out of our heads that both governments, both sides, when they were in office, at some point in time, they made significant contributions to the lives and livelihoods of Barbadians. And it cannot be that at this time in 2026, when we should be more educated and more informed, that we're saying that Mayor Motley and the BLP is the only thing for Barbados.
Correct. Very well said, because both have contributed in different ways to this country. And this is how we know that there's mind control happening, there's propaganda,
Yes.
there are all of these things happening when they want to tell you that it's like if you go to a church and they say our church is the only right
Yes.
church, you're in a cult.
Yes.
You're in a cult. Anytime they want to tell you, it's like if I come and I say the only broadcast you're to listen to is the Marcia Week Show. The moment I say that to you, something is wrong.
Yes.
Because I will always tell you, there's some things that I can't do. I can bring on this podcast, but you probably can go to Sheriff Veronica with it.
That's it.
You might be able to go to another Emmanuel. You might be whoever. You might be able to go to another podcast and it works for you. I've always said that. I love what you said there. If they're going to tell you that the only place you're going to get the truth, the only place that you're going, it's that they have it. The only party, it's them. That's a cult. Yeah. So Dave is ready with he wants it. Dave believes that we should listen to Star Come. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you.
I was sick to the stomach when I sat and listened to the vote being taken in that debate, on that measure. And I heard all the I. Everybody saying yes. And I said, well, what is this? Do they know that they are really handing away rights that belong to them in the Constitution of Barbados? They're giving away their rights. Look, the Democratic Labour Party in 1963 passed Immunities, Privileges and Powers Act to cement the rights of parliamentarians. Men said they don't want them. Give the Prime Minister, we don't want them. What is this? This has to be fixed.
Yeah. So at least they mentioned that part that you were saying that, you know, that what the DLP have done, but
the slave, you notice that the slave part
the slave part is taken out. The slave part, and you know, I would love.
Where did it? We have to go back to the other to see where it come, because it looked like it was cut. Because it didn't come at the end. They cut it. Yes,
it was cut. What they did, they sat down and they edited it.
Yes.
And put it all together as though this is exactly what the man said.
Yes.
But that, and this is why you have to. I'm so grateful to that caller.
Play that one again and see where it fits.
See where it's they've played. We're gonna take our time with this. Play the first one again, Dave.
I don't know why they would think that they need to take it out. I tell you,
something is going on here. I wanted, folks, and I wanted to let the viewers help us with this. Let's see where it is that they cut out. Dave, you have the second one, the first one? Play that one again. Play that one again.
This democracy that we fought so hard for, and we got the first glimmer of hope around in 1951, and that we managed maturely until the very recent, is now, I can tell you, under attack.
They don't have that.
No.
Democracy dies behind closed doors. It dies in dark places.
They don't have that either.
And you have to keep an eagle eye out for all of these seemingly innocuous changes taking place around you, when in fact, when they all add up, you're living in a Barbados that has changed, and you can't even recognize what has been changing. So that is my third area of concern. That anti-defection legislation, that has to be fixed. You don't get the right. You don't get your right to the freedom of association taken away and just sit back and do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Your freedom of speech. And that is what has happened with that legislation. I was sick to the stomach, comrades and friends, when I sat and listened to the vote being taken in that debate, on that measure. And I heard all the I. Everybody saying yes. And I said, well, what is this? Do they know that they are really handing away rights that belong to them in the Constitution of Barbados? You know, I did a little classics when I was at school.
Yes. Right there, right? That is where what happened right there.
That was what was taken out. That piece with the classics,
yeah,
that was taken out, and then the end came
and they joined it. They joined it together. And you know what, Mr. Babb, what is interesting, before I'm going to go to this caller here, is that I missed my, I was saying the way he communicated in this segment here. I mean, the whole thing, but especially here, it's a way that you're able, the average Barbadian is able to connect with it, with the way he describes it.
Yes.
With the language that is used, right? With the language, the classics. He went for literary devices. He went for all these, he painted a picture for us.
Yes.
And he brought, he spoke to our emotions, and he, well, not even so much emotions, but he talked about himself being sick to the stomach, and we could all feel that, and we know how we felt listening to it as well. And so he painted this image. He used the metaphors and the imagery for us to be able to understand it, and they cut it out. They cut that out of the what they presented to the masses of people who would listen to them. The question is why?
At least they could not ignore they could not ignore such a profound speech. But they could have done enough to water it down.
Yeah. And that's why I say to people, take the speech, go find it and cut it up and send it all about for yourself. Listen to it over and over. And you're going to get it on the show. You're going to be tired of it. Caller, good night. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Go right ahead.
Good night. Good night, Marcia. Good night, Mr. Babb. Good night, opposition.
Can you hear her? Okay, go ahead, please.
I hope so. Right. I heard what you're saying about the clip and the parts that were cut out, but that's not the most concerning thing for me. I have a question because I'm not sure if I heard correctly, so I could be wrong. So anybody that would have heard the news this evening can correct me. But the following news item was introduced. I think I heard right, but I could be wrong. Was introduced as this minister who replaced Mr. Stuart in this constituency, the Minister of Transport and Work, Mr. Kirk Humphrey. I was like, did I just hear that correctly? Why did they need to say that right after they played the clip with Mr. Stuart?
And was he what was he speaking on? What was Kirk Humphrey speaking on?
He was speaking on people's empowerment and the fact that they were building constructing some community building, and he also talked about renaming the basketball, the netball, and some other court. But it was a people's empowerment kind of activity. So similar to what they used to have with the constituency councils, something of that nature. But the introduction of it was my issue. And I'm like, why would you need to say that?
And it's not, and you know what? Yeah, and you know, caller, it wasn't Mr. Humphrey who said it. The point we're trying to make here is how the media is biased. Because it was Starcom is who they would have had to write the news. So why they had to say all the time Mr. Humphrey has been speaking, or they're making reference because he's all in the news now. He's fixing every pothole, which is good, right? But they never made any reference to Mr. Stuart, but they are choosing to do that now because it's Mr. Stuart. It was so obvious, yeah. Okay.
So I couldn't believe I heard correctly, so that's why I'm calling for somebody to correct me, because I couldn't have heard correctly.
Yeah.
It's just too obvious.
A good observation. Let's see if anybody has heard that, because she's wondering if anybody has heard it too. Thank you so much, caller.
You're welcome.
Yes. That's interesting, Mr. Babb. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, because what they're going to do now, they're going to, since this is out there on social media and being shared and being highlighted on the show that they always watch, and the impact that it's having, they are going to use every opportunity where they can to seek to discredit. All right. So that is what they're about. Every area of press, social media platform, that is what they're going to do.
Yes, somebody that I trust said that it was done. VO played Kirk Humphrey, who is now MP in St. Michael's South, which was represented by Mrs. Stuart. And that this is what we want to call the media to account.
Yes,
Why are you doing this? Why is it important to do this? You see, you understand what I'm saying? This is
Yes.
what we're breaking down tonight, and we want you to see Barbados, see who you have, who we are listening to as media. They have an agenda.
Right.
Go ahead, caller. Welcome. I need to say welcome. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. It's a pleasure having you call. Go right ahead, caller.
Hi, good night, Marcia.
Good night.
Are you hearing me clearly now?
Yes, we are hearing you. Can you hear him, Mr. Bob?
A little bit better than last night.
Yes, go ahead. A little bit better. Speak a bit louder.
Praise God for that. You know, we understand the agenda of the Red and Ready group, but I think that, as I would have said elsewhere last night, that our former PM comrade Freundel Stuart's message and speech and chastening, because they believe that was a moment of chastening for all Democrats, as Comrade Bob would have been saying last night in his delivery when you and him were talking. And I do believe that, I would hope, I should say, that all our country would have heard what he had to say. We have to regain our country. Right now, we living in two Barbadoses and not one. The haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
And that cannot no longer work. They have given this government a mandate not once but twice, and then you keep hearing about 30 love. 30 love means nothing basically.
Yeah.
Because if you really analyze it and break it down, just like you said more than once now, yeah, that the people of Barbados are slowly moving away from the Red and Ready group. You understand? Because you can't, as Mr. Stuart, the good man, said that they're talking about the economy. Yeah, they see that they go in the supermarket and seeing you paying $7 for something that normally costs $2 and $3. You're not going to see that when you go pay a big like bill or water bill. You understand? Because the FTC really is doing nothing to help Barbadians. You understand? It's all about who can line their pockets more, who is benefiting from it. The same can affect the house, the chicken coop, the house up in Newton Park, in Newton. Nobody is benefiting from the chicken coop. You understand? And loads of money borrowed from 2018 to put it in a short. This government has failed the people of Barbados from 2018. The report card on this administration is 0. And this is the same administration that killed and cured 2 particular individuals that are no victims. One was the worst financial minister of finance. The other one was all kind of things. So I mean, and as Mr. Stuart said, we made back then in those days that to protect parliamentarians who want to, if I'm not satisfied with hanging out with Marcia Weeks, I have rights to move on to somebody else that may be better for me. You understand? And vice versa. It's not that I have to stay here and whatever goes. That is moving away from democracy. And the late Walter Barrow created freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. And that is slowly being disappeared from the Ready group. So I'm glad that message and that speech, I hope that you will play as regular as you can, and I hope that we want to do that. Mr. Stuart will humbly accept your invitation, because that would excite me plenty to hear that gentleman speak more and really let the people on earth the behaviors that are unbecoming of this particular administration that basically, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the worst Barbados foreign governments to ever run this country.
Yes.
And it is all about themselves. So I want to applaud Comrade Freundel Stuart for that amazing, excellent, thought-provoking speech he made last night. And I hope to hear from the good gentleman, not only on the Marshall Week show, but elsewhere on a regular basis.
Yes.
Right? Let them know that we are still here and we are ready to serve the people of Barbados.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
night. God bless you all in back. Keep up the good work, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well said. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Bob, any thoughts there? But before Dave, I wanted to Dave, if while Mr. Bob is getting his thoughts together, I had sent you number one concern of Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
I had that on a graphic. If you could put that up for me, please. And on Wednesday we will go to another clip. We're going to do it like this. All right. But go ahead, Mr. Bob.
I think that as the caller said, that we need to, that a person who has that experience in Parliament and projects himself as a statesman, we need to listen to him, because what we're seeing is not what our Parliament, it has watered down. What has happened in our Parliament has been watered down. What has happened to governance is no longer it does not reach the expectations of Barbadians. And like it or not, whether you like his from Mr. Stewart or not, when he speaks, he is a statesman who has the knowledge and the capacity to say to the Prime Minister of Barbados, where you have taken us or where we are at this point is not correct. And he has that right to say that to her.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he has to.
He has the
In fact,
experience.
he has the right. He has the experience, and he was Prime Minister before she was.
Correct. So you got to listen. Well, one of the things, we're just going to mention this tonight, and then I promise you, if we take 15 minutes each night, we're going to go into different parts of the speech. And we've broken it down into different segments. And the first issue that he has with, because remember, he's talking about the state of politics in Barbados, and one is a loss of confidence in elections. And I'm just going to read some of his concerns here, and we do have some of his statements, because we're not going to cut anything short on here, okay? Loss of confidence in elections. Stuart begins with the issue he says concern him most. He argues that Barbados spent 75 years building confidence in elections, but that confidence is now being weakened. Mr. Bob, you want to read some of it?
His concerns include declining voter turnout, repeated 30-0 election outcomes, growing public complaints about electoral administration, fewer people participating while all seats continue to go to one party. These are the strongest statements. Our democracy has been derailed. We have a duty to protect the democracy of Barbados. Our democracy is our responsibility.
Correct. And our question or discussion question is, can public confidence remain strong if turnout continues falling while election results remain overwhelmingly one-sided? And that's something that we need to discuss this on Wednesday. We must find the time. Can public confidence remain strong if turnout continues falling while election results remain overwhelmingly one side. Will we have will there be public confidence in elections? Wow. These are serious issues that
Yes.
we need to deal with at this juncture. Very serious issues.
Very, yes. Governance.
Yeah. Well, folks, this is where
Before you go,
mhm.
and I want people to be aware of flowery language coming from the red lilies.
Yes, these red lilies.
The Minister of Agriculture, Food Nutritional Security, Dr. Chantal Monroe Knight, has outlined an ambitious vision to transform Barbados's agricultural sector through institutional reform, technology, investment, and strong collaboration with stakeholders. I'm looking at the ambitious vision. Where is the ambitious vision of 1 million trees, 1 million when it comes to cotton, 1 million black belly sheep on a 2x4 island, and then you take them up and ship them to Guyana. And here we are with another ambitious pronouncement. They are reading from the same script. So what a change, I keep telling them, a change of minister by this government does not mean a change of vision. It's just a continuation of what has happened before. We see in education, we change ministers, and you will see later in some of Freundel's and Mr. Stuart's submission and his speech, how many changes took place, and are we any wiser or
Yeah,
any
very
better off?
interesting. Very interesting.
And I will take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah,
Ambitious it was.
we got there's so many. I'm so glad you raised that. I'm so glad you raised that because I'm listening to her. I'm like, listen, this is the drama queen who came out when the with her in her costume and was ready, got her wardrobe together, her blazer when the fire, this mysterious fire that burned down the archives, and she's crying, and the drama queen. Here it is again. This is all a script that she's speaking from. This woman don't understand one thing she's saying. And Pedro, you caught it because I was smiling like, look at this woman. Pedro said, I doubt Monroe Knight knows what germination
Well,
means.
and the last thing, you got 59 acres of cotton planted, 20 acres harvested, and 29 acres was left in the field. That's the type of ambitious vision that we had before.
Oh my God, these people, they are drama queens with a script. They're reading from a script.
Yes.
People.
Yeah, I told them, say something. When you're under pressure, say something.
Say
Say
something.
something. Say something. I mean it. Say something. Say something. Mistake.
Oh God,
Yes.
this is crazy. This is crazy. But we listen, we're 10:03 and we're
Yes.
going to close. And tonight another great show. Mr. Babb, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And yes, we have coming up later this week, we're gonna have Miss McLean. I would love to hear Miss McLean break down some of what Mr. Stewart is saying. I would love to get her on as well. Doing that. We still want to do some youth things on Wednesday,
Yes,
but I might have to switch it up a little bit because with this here, we've got to get this in. So we might just have Miss McLean, on Wednesday and not Friday or Friday.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll have to check her schedule as well, and then check to see what we're doing with the youth. But this is very, very important.
Yeah.
I think what he's saying here, and we're going to continue with it. Thanks to Mr. Maurice. Do you listen to Maurice Gaskin? when he's
Yes.
talking. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm learning so much. It is so practical. I literally go and try to do whatever he's saying.
Yes, right.
You know,
Mhm.
thank you so much, Mr. Gaskin. Thank you, Corey Beckles, attorney Corey Beckles. And thank you for joining us, Mr. Bob, and raising these important issues. You know, I would love to hear Miss Rose Corbin, Mrs. Corbin, what she has to
Yes.
say about this education reform.
Yes.
I don't know if she's listening. Miss Corbin, I sent you a message just the other day. Didn't hear you, but you know, I would love to hear what she has to say about that as well. All right. Well, thank you all so very much. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave, and for all the last minute changes and everything that you've done. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, an excellent show again. Thank you, guys. God
Uh,
bless you.
yes, and tonight, see if somebody can find where where find where ministry by Wednesday. See if they can find where. If you can find where you
Oh,
can
is that
find
where?
where you can find
What
his
is it?
ministry.
What is his ministry?
But I asked the people to find it. We'll find it if they can find it.
He must be in Guyana trying to find the black man and
Where
sheep. He said
where
over
the
there.
ministry? Yes, they find him.
That's a ministry now. I will chat. What is it? You're something else. Where is
Right.
where is where? Where
Yes,
is
where is
where?
yeah, now where
Where
is his
is
ministry?
where?
All
All
right.
right.
Good
Okay.
night,
God
people.
bless you. Good
All
night,
right.
guys. It's been a blessing. Thank you, viewer. Everybody who put together, help us to make the show a success. Thank you so much. We need you. Thank
Good
you.
night.
And still got feeling for kids. Great trusted and discipline more than 90 times a week. Like the Motley, who's the queen bee. You are the people's king, the announcer. First class, the announcer. They can't surpass the announcer. Kicking ass, the people's king, 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 king. Thank you. I love you. The announcer.
The announcer, like only the announcer can. Wait. The announcer, they want you back, man. The people say that is how you come for encore.
Oh, sweet. You slow it down. You slow it down. Let's go. Sing this to Emil Striker. Not forgot. Play it up. All this time I've been waiting, anticipating to give 2 cents on certain events. Starting, come out in judgment, the nation lacks discernment, evidence of a breach of common sense. They banned my song last year, they play my song this year, and fire my friend, the program manager. Tell Anthony Green for me, don't study Ronnie or the announcer, study whoever by the river following for free. The people's gate, you are the people's gate. Blood in the trophy, but you are the people's gate. You have the garden rocket, even before you sing. The judges show you mercy, but you are the people's king. Lord, the people's king, not like RPB, who win the crown 10 times. Carry 7 and Super Kings, he's next in line. So long kids like an island, 4 times a piece. AC3 blood classic, Romeo joking twice each. Joel sing about Ronnie back in the lane. Ronnie does be driving, no way does be driving inside Ronnie. But he is the people's king. Feel like that? We don't come. I have a problem with people's king.
accountable for anything that comes out of his mouth. I don't know what is going on, please. That is my disclaimer. Don't call my name.